Hi again. In this short tutorial, I would like to show you one particular case of impedance calculation of two-winding three-phase transformers. If you remember from one of my previous tutorials that I showed the calculation from all different kinds of transformer. In those cases, I considered, for instance, for the transformer of delta Y connection here, I have left all other connections out, since I want to concentrate on one particular case here. So let's go through the given parameters first. To the left, we have the parameters of the transformer given to be 1.5 MVA. The short circuit impedance UK is 4%. The ratio of X by R is 10, or other way around, R by X is 10, 0.1 or 10%. The high voltage side has a voltage level of 22 kilovolts, and that on the low voltage side is 0.69 kilovolts. It's a 50 Hz grid, and we need to calculate the, actually it's not the calculation, we need to see if we simulate the transformers in two different ways if we have the same values, for example. So one of the questions from one of my audiences was if we can split the impedances to the primary and secondary side. That's why I decided to record this tutorial. So in my previous tutorial, I showed you a general calculation. I mean, if we had the impedance either on the primary side or on the secondary side, and we validated the results using an introduction of short circuit on the secondary side when we applied the short circuit voltage on the primary side. This is the principle of transformer for defining the short circuit impedance, and that we validated for all different types of transformer. So to answer the questions from the audience, yes, it is possible to split the impedances to the primary and secondary sides, but we need to make sure that even if we split, the impedance calculations are correct. So here is the process to calculate the impedance on primary and secondary sides. Now, normally, what would be the case in practice if we measure the impedances, say, for instance, on the secondary side, the low voltage side, it would be only on one particular side. If, on the other hand, we have the specifications or the data from the manufacturer, it depends on what type of transformer it is. If it is a converter transformer, normally, or if it is possible to get the data from the manufacturer, that the manufacturer specifies what percentage of the total leakage inductance would be acting practically on the secondary side or low voltage side, and what would be on the primary side or high voltage side. It's a very rare information to get, but if we have it, we can split it in the simulation as well to be imitating the input from the manufacturer. And this is actually the idea behind it. For the calculation in PLECS, it really doesn't matter if we take the impedance completely on one side, or if we split it equally, or split it by a certain ratio. So what I show you here is this. So we will leave this calculation here as it is. I will assume that it also has some, with this indication, with this input parameter, we're already assuming there is also some resistive parts. So we're not ignoring the resistive parts. If we did, then we could directly calculate the inductance from Z values. So let's go to the main point of this tutorial. So if we want to split the impedances on both sides, that means the primary and secondary sides, we take two base values, one for the secondary, one for the primary side. And for each case, it's the voltage divided by the apparent power. Now, for this particular case, I have assumed that 90% of the total leakage in impedance is given to the primary side. That's why you see 0.9 is a factor of 90%. And then short circuit voltage times the base impedance of the primary side. And the usual calculation from reactance you can find using this formula, and the resistive part of the transformer. And finally, since we need to input the parameters in the transformer, as you can see here, we need to input in terms of inductance. We calculated it by this relationship, the reactance divided by 2 pi f. And on the secondary side, since we considered on the primary is 90%, so the remaining 10% is given to the secondary side. This is a simple assumption. I will show you with other assumptions as well that it really doesn't affect the real calculation. Again, the other calculation of resistance and inductive part shown here. So if we do so, and let's consider this part, as I mentioned previously as well, it's extremely important to understand the difference between turns ratio and winding ratio. If you go into the transformer properties, you will see that there is a number of turns, N1 and N2. So this basically defines the winding ratio, not the turns ratio. So for the winding ratio, as you see on the high voltage side, I said when I connect it to high voltage side, it's the full voltage, it's 1. And I want to reduce the voltage on the secondary side, it's 1 divided by the winding ratio, W delta Y, and it is defined here. And since on the high voltage side we have a delta connection, it is VHV, no factor of square root 3, divided by the phase voltage of the secondary side, which is the line-to-line voltage by the square root of 3. For the details, you can watch the other video where I explained for all different kinds of vector groups. So if we do so, let's go and give the variables to the properties here. So leakage inductance says L1 and L2. So L1 in our case is the primary. So it's L primary and L secondary on the secondary side. Similar for primary and secondary resistances. Our secondary. Let's say OK and run the model. So we have an error. It's most probably that we have 0 here. That's why. Okay, to compare, I also take for the upper transformer. I want to show you also the old calculations. That means if we consider the impedances only on one side, in this case it was considered on high voltage side. Here you can see. So I will consider the impedance on the high voltage side, and on low voltage side, on secondary side, it's completely 0. Same for resistor. So let's see the first one as well. So in the first case, since we have a voltage of 22 kilovolts on the primary side, and 4% of that would be 880, that's approximately or almost equal. But I think there is a problem with the current as well. If we have, so rated current should be 1.25 kilo amperes. and this is calculated here. Right, rated current is apparent power divided by square root of 3, and on the secondary side we have the voltage, the lower voltage. It should be 1.25. I think we forgot the factor of 3. So this is important. You see we have a vector group of delta y. The vector number is not important, but vector group is important. For delta, for the connection of delta, we need to include the factor of 3. It's the wrong place. It should be here. Factor of 3. Factor of 3. If we now run it, we should get 1.25 kilovolts. So here, if you notice that the second scope, our second window of the scope represents the current. So it's 1.25 kiloamps exactly. So that means the impedance calculation, as we expected, only on the primary side is okay. It would also work if we now include it on the secondary side. I showed you before. You can watch the tutorial. Let's come to the point of today's tutorial. If we split, for instance, here, again, you see we have L primary, L secondary, and for resistances as well. Let's see the results here. But before, okay, let's see the result first. As you can see, we have a different current. The voltage level is okay, but the current level is not. And the reason is, again, we always need to include the factor 3. It's, you know, the transformation between delta and star. So we have these 3. If we include this, I'm expecting that the current should be 1.25 kiloamps, which we have here now, 1.25 kiloamps. Exactly, it's the same. Now, as a final topic, let's see if we split, for instance, it instead of, say, 20% only on the primary side and the remaining 80% on the secondary side, it should literally have no impact on the calculation of impedance, because it's in, so transformer is nothing but an inductor, so in equivalent inductor in the path. So you see, again, we have 1.25 kiloamps as expected. In case we have a different, like 10% here and maybe 100% here, let's see what happens. You see the current is not equal to the rated current, and this is because the impedance is not equal, or it's not 100%, it's something more than that. That's why we have reduced amount of current here. If we have, say, instead, say 40%, and we have, say, for example, 90% or 70%, say for instance, 40 and 70. You see, it's 1137. So 1470 is more than 100%. Again, the current is less than the rated current. So the idea is that if we want to split it to the primary and secondary side, we need to make sure that the total of the percentage is 100%. So if we have 40 here, and if we take 60 on the secondary side, it should give us again the rated current here. As you can see here, 1.25%. So it really comes to the matter of choice. If you'd like to include the splitted version of it, maybe you have it from your calculation, or it might also be the case that you only have, as I mentioned, for the manufacturer input data, you can include it. But since in this PLECS environment, it really doesn't make a difference whether it's have the splitted impedance or referred only on the single side. So I hope this clarifies your question. Please pay attention to the turns ratio, which is the ratio of the three-phase line-to-line RMS voltages, high voltage to low voltage, is by definition the case of turns ratio, and for PLECS we need to use the winding ratio, which is dependent on the vector group. You can watch the other transformer related tutorials on this channel, and I thank you for watching. Let me know if you have more questions. I'll try my best to answer. Thank you.